All right. What's up, Dungeoneers, and welcome back to the Nexus. I am Azrael, your host, and as always, I am joined by my wonderful co-host, Kthulu.
Hello.
And tonight is an insanely special night. This is our first return broadcast of the Everyday Dungeoneer, and we have an awesome guest on here, Autarch, from the YouTube channel Mission4Tuition. Autarch, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Oh, no problem. No problem at all. Glad to be here.
It's super cool to have you here. I've actually learned a lot about TFT from your channel, so, and I know that I'm not alone in that.
That's crazy for me to hear.
Right.
Because I don't even think of it that way. I think I always think that probably most people are tuning in and being like noob.
Mm-hmm.
I
think that's
making videos.
Yeah. Well, I mean, isn't that kind of all creators though? I have a lot of anxiety about that too sometimes when I'm on camera and I'm sculpting something. I'm going, how many other sculptors are coming on here and looking at him going, don't do it like that. It's like there's so much better ways, you know.
Why are you doing it the hard way?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I could totally understand that. So, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit and tell us a little bit about yourself and about your YouTube channel?
Let's see. I've been going by Autarch in the gaming world for a long time, since the days of Ultima Online and Lord of the Rings Online.
Nice.
So I've been into MMOs and gaming forever, since it was a thing. The origins of the YouTube channel are kind of a lot different in that we created that out of a need because our kid has to go to a special school because he's got very, very severe ADHD and cannot function like even remotely in a regular school.
Right.
So he's now in a one-on-one, and it's now online only, but it's a one-on-one thing. It's ridiculously expensive. He originally was supposed to be like, he wanted to do the channel himself, but when they created YouTube Kids, they made that impossible. So then, I said, well, I'll be the face voice of the channel and kind of do that, and it evolved from that. Into what it is today.
Yeah, it has definitely evolved into something huge. I mean, 10.4 thousand subscribers?
Was it up to that? Oh, cool.
I think so. It's
very cool.
It's
I know it was over 10.
Yeah, it has exploded. That's awesome, man. That's very, very cool. So
it's actually its second trip over 10, because it had one trip over 10, then we switched formats and lost about 1,000 subscribers, and then regained it back with the new format.
Right. Yeah, I think that's probably to be expected. Whenever you shift formats, you're gonna shift audiences a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, it was a radical shift, because it was originally like a family gaming channel. We did Minecraft and Roblox and stuff where the kid and I played together. Yeah. And that just it just wasn't working. It wasn't working for anyone. Like, it wasn't working for us. It wasn't working for the audience. It got a lot of support, but then it just became, he was like, I really needed him to focus on school primarily. That's what this is about. Right. And so then it just became, okay, what game am I the most passionate about? TFT. Okay, I'm just doing TFT videos. And then specifically, like, I'm going to focus on Hyper Roll because I actually have time to play that.
Yeah, the Hyper Roll mode is definitely, that is an awesome evolution of that game. It was actually one of the reasons why I originally stopped playing TFT. I went on a little break because it was such a time-consuming game. For anybody who's watching who does not know what TFT is Team Fight Tactics. It is a Riot game. It's in the League of Legends world, and it's kind of like a game of chess. It's very, very close to a chess game. You pick up different champions and you build teams that synergize with each other. So
it's kind. Anytime I use chess, though, I get, because that always insinuates to me that there's going to be rules in, like, knight takes bishop. If I put this here, it will do this. Where there is a lot of randomness involved here.
That's true.
Including, like my dad will call me up and ask me sometimes because he plays as well, and he'll have me look at the result of his game and say, why did I lose this? Like, I should have won. And I'm like, well, there's things called critical hits, which are a percentage chance. Like, you can't control that. So, like, yes, you had the superior team. I agree. You should have won. If you didn't, it's because you didn't get the critical hit and they did. Yep.
No, it does. That does make a lot of sense. There's a significant amount of chance involved. That's for sure. So, and one of the things that I actually really love about the TFT series is that you get the little legends, and I love collecting these things. The little legend is your summoner, I guess, right?
Yep. Well, they've now changed the name. They don't want it called Little Legend anymore.
That's right. They're tacticians now. Which that's a little legend. Come on. I mean, come on. They released Chibi Jinx, Chibi Echo, and Chibi Vi. They're cute. They're cute. They're little legends.
Yeah, Little Legends always worked it so well it made sense, and now they're like, you're a tactician. I'm like, oh, stop it.
It's like, no.
Stop it.
Don't take something that was meant to, that was designed to be kind of cool, cute, and just try to make it cool, because that doesn't work.
Yeah. But so yes, I mean, I agree. It's like I've always, and it was until this season that I really resisted buying one. I would just go by luck of the draw, get the eggs. I'd buy the battle pass and then see what I could get out of that. This season, though, I couldn't. There was one that came up that was just, it was too much cute, and I had to have it. And I'm just glad.
I'm taking it. This is your Piximander.
That is the Hextech Piximander.
These things are awesome. I have to admit, they're a little bit creepy to me. I don't know why. There's something about the way that they move that maybe it just kind of makes my skin crawl. But they are insanely cute. Like, the pictures of them are awesome.
Yeah. Did you not play with salamanders as a child?
Not really. No.
Oh, okay.
So
it's like a you problem. No.
Definitely a me problem. Yeah.
I spent a large part of my childhood trying to find salamanders, so to me they are always going to be adorable.
Okay. I mean, I can totally understand it. Like I said, I see the artwork for them, and they're really cute. They're adorable. But then I see them running off.
Axolotls.
A little bit, yeah. And then you see him jump off of the podium and go running, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know what it is about that movement. It's creepy. Not
a rat person, I take it?
Not a big rat person, no.
Okay. I used to have pet rats.
I had one when I was a little kid. I had a well, I didn't have a rat. I had a hamster, which unfortunately had a less than friendly interaction with our cat, and that was the last rodent I had. So yeah, but yeah, it was cool. Lazy as hell. The laziest. Yeah, just one of the laziest like rodents I've ever seen in my life. Just lays there all day long and eats.
Hamsters very different from rats.
No.
Well, see, on the other hand, I have seen a lazy rat too. One of my friends when I was growing up had this pet rat that was super fat, like way overweight.
You can do that to them. Yeah. You can do that to any animal. You feed it enough, it'll be like, I ain't moving.
Well, that's the thing, is this thing would not exercise. He put like a wheel in there, and he wouldn't ever use it.
Rat won't get on a wheel.
Yeah, and well, that was the thing, is he didn't know that. He thought that was the way he was going to work this rat out and help him lose a little bit of weight. So he put the wheel in there, and it never moved.
Your rat's going to look at the wheel and be like, I don't know what you think I'm going to do with that human.
Exactly. One of the funniest things I've ever seen an animal do, though, was I was sleeping over at his house, and we heard the squeak. We heard the wheel move. And we were both just about to go to sleep, and we're like, is Samson on the wheel? No way! We turn the light on, and the wheel is very slowly ticking, like this. We look down, Samson has laid himself on his back, and he's just batting at the wheel.
Yep.
So, like, every 5 seconds, I mean, and we're just looking at him going, dude, could you get any lazier? Come on, man.
Yes. The answer is yes.
Yeah, Samson the super lazy rat. It was really fun. So, what do we say we jump into VR and do a little bit of sculpting on this Piximander?
Heck
Sounds
yeah.
cool.
Yeah? Kthulu, do you have a 60-minute timer set up?
Yes.
Awesome. Let me shift over here. We're also going to turn the music down just a little bit. Oh.
And then make sure I can actually see the screen at the same time.
There we go.
Move my mic a little bit, then I can see and I can talk.
Sweet. I am also streaming this directly to our Discord channel, so you can see it without delay.
Let me go there then.
Yeah.
That will be much easier.
That's
Yeah.
probably the easier way to go.
I'm gonna stay on the YouTube so I can help monitor chat.
Awesome, thank you
Because
so much.
I don't have a second monitor yet. Yet. Birthday is coming up, and I hope to get one.
We're gonna make
Very
this
cool.
Alrighty. Give me just a second. I gotta take my headset off so I can get the HMD on, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
One Mississippi.
Okay, so I can click there and then see in real time. And okay, good. Much better. Now I don't have to crane to a different monitor.
Huzzah!
I've got multiple computers set up here because I have the rig that I do my videos on and the stream on and stuff like that, and then I have a work computer that is over next to me, completely separate setup. So
Yeah, right now I'm a baby streamer, and by that I mean I haven't even been doing this like for a year. So I just have my tower and my monitor, and that's it. Webcam, I just have my headset.
Yep. When I started streaming, so to speak, I did it as a favor to a friend because they had a site called they were starting a site. It was called Caffeine, and they needed people to test it. And so I just, decided, okay, I'll help test it. And so I became a streamer on there, and then met other people who wanted to become streamers, and that I was playing PUBG and regular League mostly.
Oh, okay.
Well, this was long before TFT was even a concept.
Forever in the before time.
Yes, the before time, the long, long ago.
The long, long ago.
Hey, Az.
Yes.
You always got to throw a Star Trek reference in.
Of course.
Oh, well, yeah, no, absolutely. Never mind, I was going to ask something completely different, but my brain died. I'm sorry.
Well, don't do that.
I was just like, hey, buy that... What was I going to do? Yeah. I don't know. Still recovering from that migraine the other day. It's like...
And
if I turn my head too fast, I get all wobbly. It's not good. And then we tried to play... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, in the chat, there's Christine Caldwell. That is my wife, actually.
Oh,
hello, Christine.
And then Sunshine Sparkman, I don't know, but hello.
Oh, I know.
Hi,
Sunshine.
And Jack Elder, hello.
Well, hello, Sunshine and Jack. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, we know them. Okay. Give me just a second. I'm moving pictures over.
Sunshine is the prettiest of ladies.
This is true. Absolutely.
Is amazing. Alright, and once you're done moving pictures over and stuff, and we're ready to start in with the interview thing, I am ready to go.
Awesome. I believe I just moved these in properly. I did indeed.
Okay, now, that's the wrong Piximander.
I thought it was the Arcane Pixie, or the Hextech Piximander.
The 1-star, though.
Oh, okay.
I do not. I do not. My kid loves the 3-star. I love the 1-star.
Okay.
What's the difference?
So
we'll see.
There is a difference. Give me just a second.
I apologize, but I'm going to be picky in a minute.
No worries. No worries at all.
Because this is the war that my kid and I have gotten into over which is the cuter Piximander. And I think they actually, I think the lower level 1-star Piximander keeps bugging me. He's like, because I have enough of the essence or whatever to raise it up. And I'm like, no, I like my 1-star Piximander. And he's like, but the 3-star's cuter. And I'm like, but it's not.
I mean,
like, I'm sorry,
Dad.
Yeah.
That's how this works.
For 13, you're wrong. It's just that it works that way.
Oh, I'm going to use that on my daughter. She's also 13.
There you go.
All right.
Come on. I mean, look. Compare them.
Yeah. No, it's absolute truth.
So I can't help but think that the one sitting on the ground looking at you, giving you the little tongue like that is just too much.
It is.
Okay, yeah, no. So I like the 3-star. It has its own cuteness. It has its own, thing going for it. But the adorable, oversized eyes with the blem, nope, that's it. I'm sorry. That one's the cuter.
So that was so I refuse to upgrade. Which I shouldn't say out loud because I'm trying to get to the Riot program.
Whoopsie.
All right, so I am ready to go. Kthulu, on your mark. I will start up.
And go. Okay.
All right.
So, we talked a little bit before we went live, but just for the show and for the viewers who don't know anything about you, what's your what are your passions? Where are you from? Basically, who are you?
Oh my. Wow. It is a long and complex question because there are many me's. I find it hard to answer because I've done so many different things. Moved out to California to become an entertainment lawyer, became an entertainment lawyer, realized it was not even remotely the job I thought it was because I thought there was going to be creativity involved, and it's not. So really? There's nothing creative about it. You just fill in forms for contracts. That's really that's the job.
Interesting.
So
that does not sound anything like what the title suggests. That is a super bummer.
Yeah.
No, I thought entertainment lawyer, like, I'm going to be negotiating, deals. I'm going to be No, the producers negotiate the deals. They send you a deal memo, and you have to turn that into a long form contract, and that's the extent. And then your job is to argue with the other entertainment lawyer about the language in that contract, and that's all I really want to say on that because I could go off for 7 hours on why it sucks, and I'm not going to.
Yeah, no. My mom works for an actuary. I understand that process. I am so sorry that you went through that.
But 3 years of law school and all the debt that goes with it just to get there. But so I ultimately gave that up and then wrote screenplays for a while.
Ooh.
Before realized that was not an easy road to profitability or being able to pay back the loans for law school. So then I kind of got into just starting my own companies. And I've had a few over the years, but one of the ones you may have heard of, your viewers may have heard of, is I was co-founder of one called Maker Studios, which was the very first YouTube MCN.
You're kidding me.
Wow.
No, not.
That's impressive.
So I co-founded that along with a bunch of YouTubers, which is, I mean, it's sort of leads into like why the channel did really well in the beginning when it was not in its form, and why it like jumped up is I had help from some very well-known YouTubers who helped promote it early on. That's
awesome. Yeah, and especially in the entertainment industry, and especially on YouTube, that's actually a huge part of the deal is who you know and how you can get your channel promoted.
Yeah. Now, I mean, granted, most of them were not. Well, none of that group. Like when we did gaming was not a thing on YouTube at all. It was actually originally forbidden because they were afraid that the gaming companies were going to, copyright strike for showing their game on it. And it wasn't until years later that it became a thing that people were doing. But when we first started it, there was no like YouTube game. There was no YouTube gamers. Yeah. That came along a couple of years later. So a lot of the people I'm friendly with are not in the gaming space at all. But that was one part of my life. I've done other companies. I did one called Zerg ID, which was a social network for gamers, essentially. The concept was to be Facebook for gamers, but in the world of MMOs, where everyone is known by their avatar and not by their names, and it was so that you could look up that person that you played a game with and had a great time playing with, but you don't ask them, hey, what's your Facebook, or what it's not like it was it was a line you just didn't cross. You had your gaming life and you had your regular life. So we founded that. My friend, his name is Alex Albrecht. He's did a show called Totally Rad Show years ago and is kind of well known. He was on G4 when it was on cable, but we did that project together. And unfortunately, it came out at just the wrong time because it came out as the MMORPGs were dying and the MOBAs were rising. And we built it for MMORPGs. And it was just such a different landscape, like the rise of League of Legends and that style of game where it wasn't... I mean, I don't know if either of you have ever played full MMORPGs.
Oh, yeah. I have.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
I don't know how much of your...
I was an Evercrack head back in the old days.
And by the way, as my wife is pointing out in chat, and she's true, Zerg was basically her idea.
It's an amazing idea.
That it was this sort of frustration that she would see me face and she would face when trying to join a raid. And, a raid, you're in it for 6 to 8 hours. And then, Tanky isn't showing up, and you need Tanky. You can't go to the raid without Tanky. You're all sitting around, and we were like, if only there was a way to communicate outside of the game without giving up our personal information.
Right.
There was no such thing as Discord, and voice chat wasn't even that possible based on the technology of the time. So this was hey, let's create a Facebook for gamers, where much like Facebook stuck in everyone's high school in the year, we went in and loaded in the games, the servers, so you could say I was Autarch on this server in this game. So somebody types in Autarch and it would be which one are you looking for? Oh, this server, this game, yep, that's the person I played with. Then you could add them as a friend, see what other games they play, so you could go from game to game with them, that kind of thing.
That is really cool.
But yeah, it seemed really cool, and it kind of had a good start. We actually had recruited a bunch of streamers to help promote it, and
I would have helped promote the crap out of that.
I mean, we had some really big names. One of them who was really helpful in the beginning. Have you heard of the Team G2?
I have.
Carlos was one of the promoters. He's an awesome guy.
Oh, wow.
Awesome guy.
Okay, that's awesome.
And I'm apologizing that my phone is ringing.
No worries.
I'm going to make it shut up now. Call from go away. Okay. But he helped out, but it was just we worked on it for 3 years in building the whole back end, because we were essentially like creating Facebook in a whole different realm.
Mm-hmm.
And so we spent 3 years working on it and then launched it just as League was becoming the big thing. And all these tools that we built for help forming raids and scheduling and all of that meant nothing in the world of MOBAs.
Yep.
But so
that's tough. It's just when the landscape changes, it can change drastically.
Yep.
So
I mean, that it worked well. I mean, it was popular-ish at the time. We got up to 500,000 users on it, but we ended up being bought out by another company that was buying the essentially they were buying the list because they could advertise to gamers, and then they never did anything with it and just let it die. So,
yeah,
but at least it was bought out.
When we first really started looking seriously at building Nexus Engineering, we knew that one of our options was to go with funding, but or to like give Blood Divers over to a developer. But then we were sitting there thinking about it, going, "No, you
give up a lot.
You give up a lot. Like it's not your game anymore at that point."
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, we had it until there was that point. It's like when that other company came along and said, "We'll buy it out."
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at all the numbers and looking at what was valuable in it and looking at how much we'd have to change it to make it work in the MOBA landscape.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing a lot of work with CivHD at the time, and he was sort of helping, like, you need these tools, these tools, these tools, these tools.
Right.
And I was looking at the cost of building all of that going, no. Like, we're not going to put another, we're not going to be able to raise another $2 to $3 million to make all of these changes.
Right.
And I don't know if we have the runway, and like people are losing patience because it had ended up just becoming kind of a Twitter for gamers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that we didn't need a Twitter for gamers. Twitter is Twitter for gamers.
Right.
Right.
So it was, cute that it existed, but it was just for people who were hardcore fans of the people who were already on it. But there was no drive for anyone to go there because they were all playing. They were all moving over from, Star Wars, the Old Republic, SWTOR and
Right.
Guild Wars, and over to League and some of the others, Dota, those games, which did not require the same kind of commitment. You didn't have to set up for an 8-hour raid.
Yeah.
It's a 30-minute match, and if friend A isn't on, friend B joins you instead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not liking the ears.
No, I need to make them on a new layer anyway. So, because it's going to be a different material. Right now I'm doing what I normally do, which is just blocking out the kind of basic shapes.
That is so cool.
And then I'm going to go back in and...
Thank you, Gelft. Thank you so much. I just glanced over at the chat. And if I don't react to the chat in time... Yep.
Oh my God, Gelft! We love you.
But I just want to let them know, I have the chat on a monitor to my left, and then I have the main... the live on the monitor to my right, so I'm mainly watching that, and then every once in a while I'll turn back and look at the chat. So.
No worries.
I
cannot see
chat, but I didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah, I cannot see chat at all when I'm in here.
That's
so
fine.
Well, yeah, you're in a whole different world.
Yeah.
Plus,
I mean,
people aren't here for you.
Right. It's like no one wants to chat with my ass. They want to chat with you.
So.
Yes, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. A little bit of a tangent and ramble is perfectly acceptable.
Well, then you got the right person, because that's where it's going to go.
I was trying to control the tangents and rambling when I try to sit down with my family to play D&D, and everybody does the thing that every gamer does, where they, D&D is 2 hours of play, 6 hours of talking about stuff that has nothing to do with the campaign.
Yep.
kid did not do well with D&D because he was all tangent, no game.
Yeah.
Yep, I can totally understand
it's taken
that.
a couple of years of playing to get my kids to calm down and do more game than tangent, but man, my daughter is all over the place. But speaking of kids, though, with creativity for you, how did that affect you as a child, and how did it from childhood evolve into your adulthood and stuff? Words.
God, that's a tough one. I mean, it's like I hate to say, I was a highly creative child. It just sounds so pretentious, but I was a highly creative child.
I don't think it sounds pretentious at all. I say the same thing. I was one of the entire reasons why I built this channel was because I know that creativity has played such a huge part in my life, and I like being able to explore how that's affected other people as well.
That was the guiding thing for me in every decision I made. Was I always liked the creative path. Mm-hmm. Every project I did, I could get any project where I could turn it into a storytelling medium of some form. Mm-hmm. I took the chance to do that. Like I did these projects in college where I didn't even have editing equipment. I had 2 VCRs, and so I'd be playing one VCR and then recording on the other to create like these videos that were clipping in parts of TV shows. Like there was an old show on HBO called Dream On. I love that show.
Nice.
And so I used to use like that style to like get inside the heads of the characters or what was trying to be said. I used to do that in the original videos I had that I was creating for this, but number one, they would take me 2 to 3 days to put together a video because I'd have to find the perfect clip to go in where I wanted it to. Then I just realized that was not like a good use of time, and so I instead now go with I play the match, I trim it down into a digestible format, and then just voice through it.
Right.
And trying to explain what I did and why I did it without everyone. Every once in a while, you'll like I can't resist, and I will there will be like a moment where something happens. I'm like, okay, I gotta grab a clip. I know the clip I want. I just gotta find it.
Right.
So
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah. But it's like that just it like I can't help it. And it's funny, Shivy, who watches all the videos, although still yet has able to figure out how to play TFT, I don't comprehend it. But if you watch all the videos, like you should at least be able to function in it.
I was watching you for like 20 or so minutes, and it would take me some time to get used to like how to do the things. But
thank you.
It seemed easy.
Okay, thank you, Shivy. Do you hear that? I know you're listening.
Throw me under the bus like that?
I'll throw him
under the interview.
No, I'm not. I'm throwing him under the bus because he belongs under the bus. He's been watching since he's been watching since day one, and tells me I can't play TFT, and I'm like, then my videos suck. Like
I don't know. Shivy says that they're the best TFT player. And they don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. My wife has
been thrown down
to that. But it's so. Creativity. That was what guided me to entertainment lawyer, because I thought it was going to be a creative job. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was my whole impetus for I'm going to leave New York. I'm going to move to California. I'm going to, I'm going to go to law school and become an entertainment attorney, because then I'm going to get to do creative things. The only other entertainment attorney I knew, which was a distant relative, he had become executive producer on a TV show, and I was like, well, that's the path.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, like that's the thing. It's like but I found out that path is the only reason he got to do that is his father was a famous producer, and that there's a little thing in the I said I wasn't going to talk about it, but there was a thing in the legal field, in law, in entertainment, where you're in what's called the Black Tower once you're in business and legal affairs.
Okay.
And
Right.
creative will never see you as a creative, period. They just will not look at you that way.
Interesting.
Like, no matter, you can come in with the most brilliant idea ever, and you can come in and be like, I have an idea. Darth Vader is Luke's father, and they'll be like, no, absolutely not. That's ridiculous. Not doing it. Like, it wouldn't matter. Like, how good your thought was. You're the lawyer. That's what you're good for.
Right. Yeah,
And
I can imagine that has got to be frustrating as hell.
So it's like I had to leave that. Oh, I actually left out a whole part of my life. I'm surprised my wife didn't tag me on it. I read screenplays for years in between. Like, once I left, when I was writing, I was also a reader for a bunch of the studios and agencies.
Oh,
so I read hundreds and hundreds of screenplays from writers who were wanting to get their work out there.
And then
I got to be the judge and jury and executioner, which is a frightening job.
Yeah.
So you were the first line of defense basically for the studio.
Oh
Or
yeah,
like,
no,
they would send you and go, all right, if you see something that's worth taking a look at, let us know, like that kind of thing.
It's also probably one of the most depressing jobs if you actually want to be a writer.
Really?
That you can get. Well, I read over 3 years, probably close to 3,000 screenplays, and I can count on both hands the number of them that I thought were good enough to go to the next level.
Wow.
And at some point you wake up to the fact that each one of these, that the screenplays I'm writing, each one of these, the person who wrote it put as much time, passion, and effort into it as I am putting into what I'm doing. And it's likely going to someone like me who reads through it and goes, meh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right on to the next thing.
Yeah, that's talk about an eye-opening experience.
And she's also correcting me. Yes, I was writer, and we did get pre-production on a few projects with other producers. That is true. She's like, don't just beat yourself up there. No, that's true. I was hired to write on a couple of things, and we almost got a couple of movies made, but unfortunately it just didn't. It's like everything just kind of like skipped at the end, and there's so many stories like that. Like, there's so many people who get a project, they sell their idea, or they get someone on board, and they're like, okay, it's done, I'm good to go, and they don't realize that until you've been in the industry for a while, that it's not even that's the first hurdle. That's the step that leads to the door that leads to the track where you then have to jump over the hurdles.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Like, I can imagine. There are a lot of industries that are hard to get into, but I mean, you're talking about an industry that is extremely exclusive.
Well, and it's not even, it's there for every 100 screenplays that get sold, one movie is made. So for every movie you see coming out, there were 99 other writers who sold scripts and thought they were made, who it ended up not going forward.
Interesting.
And the frustrating thing with that is when you see a bad movie, you wonder, how did this happen?
Yep.
I have seen several like that in my life.
And you then, when you start to realize that there were 100 scripts that were also purchased by that studio that got through some level of production, that they might have signed an actor, a director, or whatever, then and then got dropped somewhere along the way because this other thing that you just sat through and wanted to get up and walk out of in the middle, or did get up and walk out of in the middle, this was better. This was the better option. It might not have been. A lot of them get ruined by committee, but that's a whole different issue.
I think
I should have let my wife come on this, because she said first business was selling on eBay. Yep, we did sell on eBay.
That's awesome.
Right after when I first quit. Well, when I first quit law, it was like, okay, giving up the salary, giving up the. I had a job where they had offered me the corner office, the really nice track. They liked me. It was, I can say where it was. It was
coveted
with the
corner.
well, it was the DGA. I mean, it was Directors Guild of America. I had come in there on a part-time basis just to help out, and they liked me. I liked them, but I was doing it sort of on my own terms. So I was going in and doing some legal work for them, but then going home and being able to do this other stuff. And they finally came to me and said, look, we got to eliminate this position because the person who I was working with, she was going to become the president of the legal department over at SAG. And they were like, you can have her job. And it comes with that office, and it comes with a 6-figure salary, and it comes with all of these benefits.
Wow.
But it's, full time. You're here 8 a.m. You're here until 8 p.m, and that's on a slow day. And, it's we own you, and you're going to have to. And I sat down, and I remember, I love this guy, the guy who was the head, because he understood, and he made me this offer, and I looked at him and said, Elliot, I really like you, and I really like everyone here, and you guys are awesome, and I want to keep on liking you, which means I have to not take this job, because if I take it, I'm gonna hate you all. And he just looked, smiled, and he was like, good call.
Yep.
When your boss looks at you and tells you you're a good man for not taking the promotion.
Oh yeah. Everyone knew. It's the the great secret, or not secret. You talk to most entertainment law attorneys and tell them you got out, and they're like, "How did you get out? How did you escape?" And it's like you have that moment where it's like you're offered here's the golden ring to this, but you're like, yeah, but here's the golden ticket. You're like, yeah, but that ain't the chocolate factory,
right?
Yeah.
That's the poop factory. I don't want to go there.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Yep.
So you said you're from New York?
Yes, originally.
Where?
Originally born in the Bronx, and then moved just outside to the suburbs. Spent most of my young days there. Then went to school upstate New York, and then as soon as I slipped on the ice one too many times, decided Southern California, law, and moved out here.
See, I'm from originally Rochester, New York, so that's why I asked.
That's right next to where I went to school in Albany.
Oh, that's where my dad's from.
Yep. I spent a lot of time at RIT.
Hey, Christine, that is the most important thing. I actually also just walked away from a job that I didn't think was what it was supposed to be, because I hated it. It didn't make me happy.
Well, I mean, that was the thing, is it's gonna ultimately impact your entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, it's like Christine and I had kind of just gotten together at that point, and it was either I was going to be a miserable wretch, and that was not going to work. So,
yeah.
Luckily she was supportive of that, because when she got together with me, I was the entertainment attorney. And then when I left that and was doing other things, and okay, gonna now pursue my dream. That means, we're gonna live in this one bedroom for a while. She was cool with it, so thank you, honey.
That right there is how you picked a winner.
Yeah, she did. She did pick a winner.
Well played, sir. Well played.
Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry.
Had to. I just had to.
No,
she would expect nothing less from me.
I was about to say, yeah, it sounds like she would be perfectly okay with hearing that from you.
I think if I didn't say that, she would have been surprised. She would have been like, "How did you miss that?"
Right?
Like you were not yourself. You missed that one.
Like, who are you?
But yeah, so I mean, really, creativity and the drive for creativity has been everything. Like everything I do, even the job I have on the I don't know what the side job is anymore, but the entire point of it is sort of coming up with creative solutions to problems.
Right.
And it's not necessarily, about storytelling or that kind of stuff, but it's as a business consultant and figuring out what the pain point is in the way their business is running and going, okay, how do we solve this?
Right.
And often it's through creative solutions. It's not, there's no textbook on this stuff, or there is, but I wouldn't pay attention to it.
Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, that's again, that's one of the reasons why we started this show, because when it comes to solving problems, creativity has always had a lot to do with that. So if I've always been interested how it's impacted other people's lives. So
then I'm curious, and I'm not as I don't have any accolades like you do, but being a creative person is also something that I can say that I am. Do you think that you'd be able to do the things that you do now if you weren't as creatively minded?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I mean, the two. If I wasn't creatively minded, I would have stayed in the law job, because that didn't require creativity. That required, following the rules and going by the book and doing the things you need to do.
Yeah.
Because that's not how my brain works. It's not how I function. It's not the existence I can even function within. It's like I have to be in a dynamic atmosphere where I'm forced to think on my feet, and I'm forced to think my way out of problems in that way. Like without that, no, I couldn't. It wouldn't work for me. Like it's so much a part of me. I couldn't imagine it not being a part of me.
Yeah,
and I know people who aren't.
Sentiment.
Yeah. It's like I know people who aren't, and they thrive in what they do, and that's awesome for them. It's like that's great. They don't think in the same way, and the world needs people who think in both ways. Without either one of us, like everything would come to a halt.
Oh, and I completely agree with that.
So I don't want I don't even want to for a second get the idea that it's like, oh, the creativity is without that you fall apart. It's like, no, some people do have it, and some people that's not their skill, but they have other skills that I absolutely do not have. Organization is not a great skill for me.
Oh, I'm horrible at it.
I have the worst or best OCD ever, depending on who you ask.
Well, depending on the perspective you have.
True.
Well, it's like I told you.
It's like my kid with his ADHD. It's both it's a superpower in that he can process information faster than any human I have ever come into contact with. But because he can process information faster than any human I have ever come into contact with, he can't stay focused on one topic for more than a few seconds. And he also, I'll give you an example. I mean, we've been doing Hanukkah this week, and he wanted me to, there was one gift because we just don't have room so there was one big gift, and he wanted me to kind of lay out clues each day so that he could figure out what the gift is and where it was hidden, that kind of thing.
Oh, that's cool.
That's a cool idea.
And so I was coming up with kind of pretty basic stuff. I didn't have too much time to really put thought into it. And so I did one where I mentioned Squid Games and then put some things in Korean around the outside that he then would have to translate. And did a couple of little things like that. But he started looking at it and he's like, "Oh, I noticed that you tore the first one and the second one was cut. I think that might be binary." And I'm like, "Kid, no. Stop right there. You are so outside the realm of what I was like. The clues are what are the capital letters. That's the clues."
Yeah. I'm not that intricate. It's not. Yeah. It's not which corner was folded counterclockwise. No, just
Yeah,
no.
Exactly. It's like, but that's where that's how he's seeing it, and he's like processing every possible scenario. Yeah, like Chris said, she's organized but a slob.
So, as much as walking into my son's room makes me want to rip out all my hair and scream like a banshee, I understand that there is a thing called organized chaos.
Yeah.
I just can't do it.
That's organized chaos is the probably the hallmark of the ADHD brain. I don't particularly have ADHD, but I do have that function. I live in organized chaos. I don't think my kid could function outside of organized chaos. I don't think my wife could function outside of organized chaos.
I can relate.
Yeah.
That
is looking like a Piximander. It is getting there.
It is getting there, slowly but surely. Kthulu, what's my time looking like here?
We have another 20 minutes on the dot.
20 minutes, awesome.
Yep.
All right, so it looks like I've got the base. Oh, let me get back in my Guardian here. It looks like the eyes need to be a little bit bigger.
More anime. Yeah. More chibi anime.
Yeah, we're gonna need.
Yep, that's what they were going for this season.
Very much so, yeah.
But I mean, it's getting there.
Very cool. I can't do VR, but I can't do VR because it makes me seasick. But that's a whole different issue.
It is.
See, it's weird. I don't have like motion sickness or anything like that, but I occasionally play Rocket League. And I can't play Rocket League if I'm on ball cam, like where the camera is focused on the ball. It makes me nauseous, and I don't understand.
Oh, that's really? Any first-person shooter I can't do.
See, and I can do those. Like it's easy. It's fine. It's just something about Rocket League and the new Sea of Thieves update.
With me, it's I've been doing VR for so long that. And I perform so much of my work in it that I think I've just gotten to the point where I'm used to the feeling, so I just don't get sick anymore. Well, no, I take that back. There is one game that will make me sick every single time.
What?
It's called Gorilla Tag.
What?
Yeah, it is such a stupid game and so much fun at the same time.
Then you likely watched one of Shivy's videos on that. He did a Gorilla Tag video on that bug.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I probably have seen this.
He did a whole thing on it about that thing that was causing people to get logged off or lose their. He could probably say if he's still. I know he's still watching, but it was like PBBV or something like that.
Yeah, Gorilla Tag is. It is a lot of fun, but it is, oh man, it is not optimized very well. And if you've got any lag whatsoever, yeah, the seasickness is coming.
Okay.
PBV, he says. Okay.
So, I want to ask you something a little bit more personal.
Okay.
I know that there are many people out there who have many different issues. Some of them the same, and some of them, a lot of them, to different levels and whatnot. But has your creativity in your personal life ever helped you overcome something traumatic like loss or grief, or if you were ever afraid of something?
Okay, so exactly the opposite for me.
Really?
Yes. My creativity will... Okay, so for example, I'll give the example of what actually happened today. So I don't know if you were tuned into the stream when I went off on this rant earlier.
I didn't, no.
I was not.
I was working on tech issues.
Okay, no. When I started the stream, I said so. I was like, "Excuse me if because I usually don't swear on stream. I try to not do that." And I was like, "Excuse me, I might today because I am furious at something that happened." And I'll explain to you what happened, and you'll understand why. But then I'll tell you why my creativity gets in the way of that. Okay. So my wife and I, we did the responsible thing today. We went and got our booster shots. So we did the absolute responsible things. We set up our appointments. 10 o'clock this morning, we were out. We were 10:15. She's picking me up. We were going over to get our booster shots, and we get in line. And we, sign in, and then they have you sit in this little. It was a pharmacy in a grocery store, right? And I'm still deciding how much I want to call out the particular location or anything. So I'm not going to name the store or the pharmacy or any of that.
Right.
We get in line. They say, okay, you're signed in. Go wait in that room. And now you're put in a room that's 8 by 10 with 6 or 7 chairs with a bunch of other people in there. There was a family with their 2 kids in there as well. Figure everyone's in there to get the shot. And the family, a couple of people go and get their shots. Then the family goes just before us, and we noticed that they don't let the father in at the same time as the daughter, and it's little kids. So I was like, is that kid old? And I don't think they're 5 years old yet.
Yeah.
When the kid comes out, the kid's coughing.
Oh, no.
Then the father goes in, and the mother says to the daughter, oh, he's just going to get his test. And in that moment, it occurred to me that they were there not for the vaccine, but to get tested for COVID.
Yeah.
And here we are in this small waiting room with them. Now, granted, we're all wearing masks, but we're in this small waiting room with them, waiting to get, our vaccine. Yeah. And we've just now been exposed to people who may or may not be positive. We have no clue.
Right.
Well, enter the creative mind, and the hyperactive creative mind, if you will. And in my mind, yeah, no question they're positive, and there's no question we got it.
Right.
And now I have to worry about that for the next week.
Right.
So for me, creativity, while being a superpower in some ways, is also the thing that will get in my way the most, because I can think of all of the outcomes of various things.
Oh, yeah.
I can, in 2 seconds, I can analyze a situation and go, and this terrible thing can happen, and this terrible thing can happen, and that, and that, and that. Okay, yeah, cancel that. Don't do that thing. Yeah. So it's a blessing and a curse. Yes, very, highly creative and, fast moving mind, but I can jump to the worst conclusion possible. So it hasn't necessarily helped me get, deal with fear or grief or anything like that. If anything, it's sort of been the opposite, in that it adds fuel to that fire. Because my brain will just work on that problem and go, okay, what are all the possible outcomes? There's 30 of them that are bad, and there's 2 of them that are good. Oh, crap.
Yeah.
Right. As my significant other would say, you worry too much.
Yes.
But as I tell him, you don't worry enough.
Yeah.
Hold on. I have a visitor here. What's up, Kidling?
I'm gonna go on treadmill.
Okay, go on the treadmill. Good job.
Could I have an hour of YouTube for it?
Sure, why not? Okay, excuse me while I do some actual parenting.
No worries.
Go for it.
This is what my channel is all about. He's getting on the treadmill, which is what he's supposed to do, but then I have to unlock YouTube for him so that he can watch YouTube while he's on the treadmill.
There you go.
What I have started doing with my daughter, because she's 13 and is doing the whole teenage, I'm not going to listen to you thing.
Yes.
And I refuse to say because I said so. I don't feel like that is a valid thing. And I know that I don't, as a parent, I don't have to give full detailed explanations on the reasons why of everything, but I refuse to give no reason at all. However, my daughter has started to go through this phase where she's not going to do what she's been told. She's not going to do what she knows she should do. And she's been trying to give me the I forgot or I didn't know, even though it's been the same routine for the last, umpteen million years.
Yes.
So,
They all think they're slick. All of them.
No, we all do. We all do. We did it too.
That's true.
But so I've actually gotten with our roommates and conspired against my daughter with them. Whenever the rule in the house is whenever there's somebody sleeping on the couch, you can't watch TV.
Okay. It's a fair rule.
Yep. And, our roommates are having to sleep on the couch because the house has issues. Their room is super cold. Can't do it. So instead of letting my daughter have, rampant control of the living room, one of my roommates has decided that it would be a good idea to not force, but, put on educational stuff on the TV. And, my daughter can either watch it or go do chores or go do something else. So instead of taking things away, I'm just forcing her to learn stuff. I know, I'm so bad.
What's funny is that when I was a kid, the one thing that my dad really wanted me to learn, because he was really passionate about it, was naval history. And I remember he gave me this book that he wanted me to read during one of my summers up there, and I read it, and I had to do like a little book report on it, and I had no interest in it at the time, but the knowledge stayed with me all the way through my naval career, and it ended up coming in handy. It was really funny. My Cobb, the chief of the boat, would he considered himself to be a naval history expert, right? Especially on like old sailing ships.
Right, and you would assume that he should be, right?
And he should be, yeah. So when I started showing him up on knowledge, the crew got wind of it and they thought it was really funny. So we would end up like having like competitions to see who knew more about old ships. Like, what's this mast called? We'd be trying to get each other stuck. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's cool.
That is super cool.
Yeah, the things you never know that are going to come in handy one day.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh, I keep trying to explain that to my kid. Oh, no, that lesson hasn't stuck yet.
It won't. Like, I've been trying to say the same stuff to both of my kids for years and years and years and years and years. But it didn't stick with my son until he got his own job. And then last week or the week before, he came to me and apologized, like of his own volition. And I was like, for what? What did you break? He's like, no. For being, and pardon my language, for being a little shithead and not believing you.
No,
I was like, aw, go clean your room.
That is always, I think, gratifying. I had a math teacher in high school named Mr. Green. Never ever forget Mr. Green. He, because I had an argument with him as a student, and I remember telling him, Mr. Green, I am never going to use trigonometry. Ever. I'm an artist. I'm never going to use trig in my life. It's just not going to happen. And I remember him looking at me and going... Did he show
you how you were wrong?
Oh, no. I showed me how I was wrong. Yeah. I ended up joining the Navy. And I remember he looked at me and he said, CJ, one of these days, you're going to come back in this classroom and you're going to look at me and you're going to say, Mr. Green, you were right. Thank you for teaching me trigonometry. And I remember looking at him like, oh my God, that's never going to happen, right?
Right.
And, right. No way.
No.
So, fast forward to let's see, 3 years later, I am a year into the Navy, and my job as a submariner is to use trigonometry to track other submarines. Like that is all I do is trig. And my sister was going to that school, and I happened to go. I was there to go visit her, and go surprise her because she didn't know I was back. I was on leave, and I was there just before classes let out, and I noticed that Mr. Green was still teaching math. And I just kind of looked into the room. He recognized me and pulled me in. And the first thing I said to him was, "Mr. Green, you were right. Thank you for teaching me trig." And he immediately jumped out of his desk. He's like, "Yes! Yes, I do it!" So, yeah, that was
Oh my god, that's great.
Yeah.
And in my case, I never used trigonometry again.
Right. And most people don't. Most people don't. I was like, I'm never going to use this. And then he was like, well, if he had told me then that I was going to end up growing up and using it to blow stuff up, that might have caught my interest a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Right? Like, wait. You're telling me that this nonsensical crap that hurts my brain can actually help me blow things up?
Yeah. Like,
Okay,
I can make
listen
things
now.
go boom. Awesome.
I'll listen now.
Yeah.
Yeah, my kid he's allergic to historical facts because it's like I don't care who invented this. Like, why do I have to know the name of that person? And it's like it's so hard to explain that having that knowledge is going to help you in ways that you don't necessarily. It's not as simple. Like, no one's likely ever going to stop you, on the street, hold a gun to your head, and say, "Who invented the microscope?"
Right.
It's not going to happen. But you may end up in a conversation with someone who you want to impress, or who it's important that they think you're knowledgeable, and
Right.
that comes up, and you having that knowledge will be important and will show that you're overall a well-rounded person. It's like you never know when those little moments come up, and you'll be like, "Glad I knew that," or you'll just be able to add to some conversation.
I still have moments like that, and
Of course.
I'm 35, and I still have moments where I'm like, "Oh, well, I mean, that's cool, but it's wrong because blah 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 and blah blah blah," and people still look at me like, "What?"
Yep, that's the that's a give and take. It's hard.
Besides, nerdy, intelligent people are cuter anyway.
There you go. Not as cute as a Piximander.
That's it.
No, of course not.
Got to go after the nerds.
Well, yeah. I mean, I have to stick to my own kind.
I think I'm coming up on done here.
Good, because we've got 4 minutes left.
Oh boy, yeah. Okay, so let's do this.
Snap your fingers, hurry up, make it finish.
Kid, you good?
Just grabbing some water.
Okay, cool. I heard the treadmill stop, and I saw him come around the corner.
The thing accidentally ripped out.
Oh, okay.
It was at
Sorry,
the internet, so.
The treadmill is sort of right behind me on like the way our place is set up, where my
No worries
office
at
is
all.
in a little corner.
Hey, man.
Behind.
Real life comes first, and being a parent is one of the hardest jobs in the universe. So,
Yes, it is, and it doesn't pay very well.
No, it doesn't. It pays in stress and anxiety and questions like, "How the did you do this? How is this on the ceiling?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, why?"
That was the question that my mom asked me a lot. Was how did this get on the ceiling?
I mean,
How are you even capable of doing that?
Right, like my understanding of physics is constantly being questioned by my kids.
Oh, there was one time as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
You okay, kidling?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Now it stays on.
Okay, one of my as a kid, and I don't. This is an amazing moment, and not understanding consequences, maybe 10, 12 years old, maybe older. I don't know. My best friends, they used to spend a lot of time at their grandparents' house, which is right next to my house.
Right.
They had a pool table downstairs, and they also had one of those like corked ceilings, like that type of ceiling.
Oh, my grandma had that in the basement too.
Okay, so we discovered that if you took the pool cues and chalked them up and then smacked them really hard into the ceiling, it created a really big puff of blue smoke and left a little blue hole. And we thought this was endlessly entertaining, and we went all around the room doing it. Never considering for a moment that when their grandfather came downstairs and saw this, he was going to lose his mind. And, we did it and then went upstairs and went about our day. And then all of a sudden, we hear the, "What did you do down here?" And it's like, till this day, we'll still discuss it and be like, what were we thinking?
You weren't.
Like, we weren't. It's not like we were 3. We were like, I might have been preteen or tween. Some like they were older. They were teenagers. We weren't like we had brains. Like we had fully formed, capable brains, but somehow we just did not put together the action consequence of what was going to happen. Because in the moment, it just seemed like a cool thing to do. And this is like, we're not even talking like the days of like alcohol and things like that where there were actual judgment impairments added. This is just kids.
Yeah,
it's mind-boggling.
We do some dumb stuff as kids. I mean, that same friend Daniel, the one with the really lazy rat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He had a gas-powered scooter, and he would he and I decided that since 2 people can't ride it, obviously the best thing to do would be for me to get on my rollerblades and for us to tie a tow rope to the back of it, and I would basically water ski it on rollerblades with no helmet, by the way, at 35 miles an hour down our street. And my favorite thing to do on this was to hit the curb at the edge of one driveway, jump from there over to the next driveway, and land. I don't know how I am still alive. I'm not sure how this conversation is even possible. So
see, and this is why when you asked how creativity has helped me, I really have a hard time finding it, because it usually leads to me making choices like that, because it's like I came up with very creative ways of doing things that I shouldn't have been able to get out of.
Right.
Hey, Az.
Yes.
I sent you a message on Discord forgetting that you can't see it.
Oh, yeah?
We're out of time, dear.
Oh, boy. All right. So then this has got to be my finished thing.
That is a Piximander. Yeah? I would absolutely recognize that as a Piximander.
Awesome.
I call success. Anyone in chat have anything to say about that?
I'm pretty happy with it.
I think it looks great. I think it's adorable.
I still think the eyes need to be just a little bit bigger.
They are not as big as they are here. I think the problem is that the entire front of the forehead, or the entire front of the head, is sloped back too much. I think if you were to turn this guy sideways, the head wouldn't be as long; it would be more flat.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference between that and this. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that.
I mean,
yeah.
For not knowing much about it and only having like an hour, I think that's pretty good.
I agree 1,000%. I say, if you showed me that, I'd be like, oh, Piximander. Like I wouldn't be like, what's that supposed to be?
Perfect. Well, in that case, I am going to go ahead and jump out of VR. I will be right back.
Awesome. And Kthulu, you have any questions for me while we're...
Alrighty.
What's your favorite kind of ice cream?
Chocolate chip cookie dough.
That's a good one.
Oh man,
That's a good one.
that needs to be a That needs to be a regular question for all of our guests. What is your favorite kind of ice cream? Rocky Road here, all the way.
See, I like Rocky Road except for the marshmallows.
There we go.
That's the best part of it.
Okay, so I like marshmallows, but it's very specific. It's either in hot cocoa, and it has to be the little ones, not the big ones, because they take too long. Or fire roasted / fire roasted s'more. I can't stand marshmallows outside of being burnt over a fire or in hot chocolate liquid.
No.
I can't, and I cannot tell you why.
Okay. I can't do marshmallows at all. Like
at all?
At all. Like, period. I mean, it goes back to Boy Scouts, and we roasted them, and I had too many, and I got sick, and that's like when you do something like that with that's the
you
end
ruin
of
it for yourself.
Over.
Yeah.
I ruined shrimp ramen for myself doing it that way.
Yeah. That's why till this day I can't get near pickles.
I ruined wild turkey Tennessee honey. Like that.
Oh yeah.
That's the one I just can't. I smell that and I am done for the night.
Thor is like that with comes in the purple bag.
Oh wait, now tell the cookie dough story.
Crown Royal.
Really,
Thor is
hon?
like that with Crown Royal.
I got to tell the cookie dough story. She wants the cookie dough story.
God.
If there is a story associated with the cookie dough, this is definitely a need, not a want. Yeah.
I think we could push the show a couple more minutes to hear a story.
I'm definitely down for that. Yeah.
It's a real quick story. It's
of course.
It's the story of four drunken four drunken college students, and what happened to a 5-gallon drum of cookie dough from Ben & Jerry's in the course of an hour.
No, all right.
So,
let me just drum.
So my friend, my roommate, actually, was he my roommate? Sweet mate, whatever. I don't know. I don't remember exactly. No, but then he was sweet mate. I wasn't living in the same room as him. He was an assistant manager to Ben & Jerry's.
Mm-hmm.
He, let's say borrowed. Let's use the word borrowed.
Right.
He borrowed a 5-gallon drum of cookie dough. That's what they used to make the ice cream. And he brought it back. And 4 of us each had a spoon, and we sat around the 5-gallon drum, drinking, talking, eating, drinking, talking, eating. Some of them were using another substance that helps, spur the appetite, let's say.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, like after about an hour, we hit bottom and realized that between us, we had each probably had 1.25 gallons of cookie dough.
Wow.
Oh my god.
That
and
is
alcohol.
amazing.
So that's cookie dough and like yeasty type stuff. Oh my god.
Yeah.
You were making little cookies in your tummies.
Oh yeah. So and none of us got sick. It's amazing.
Lucky.
Like I can totally understand that in one respect, and that when it comes to like hard pack ice cream, actual like ice cream, not soft serve or something like that.
Yeah.
We would get a hard pack on the submarine, and they would put it in the freezer, and I'd swear they're putting armed guards next to that thing because the entire crew knew that there was hard pack on board,
Right.
which means it is going to be served eventually. And the second they break that thing out, it's one of those. I'm guessing it's the same thing. It's like a 5-gallon tub. It's massive. As soon as that thing's out, everybody on the crew, even if you're asleep, you're waking up because they're serving hard pack. So
Right? It's like, I smell ice cream.
170 dudes go straight through the galley. Yeah. So
Jeez.
I could totally understand that.
But yeah, it was just 4 of us though. Like there wasn't a whole gallon. It was 4
That's
people.
insane.
That
is
insane.
craziness. Oh God.
So that's the cookie dough story.
Sometimes the appetite hits you, man. You just got to do it.
It was just
You have the cookie dough. You got to eat the cookie dough.
it was a mindlessness to it. We were just doing whatever we were doing. one of my roommates, like I say, there was another substance involved for a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
You can figure that out.
Oh yeah.
And that made them extra hungry, but it was not difficult for us to all just keep chatting and grabbing a spoonful, and all of a sudden somebody hit bottom, and we were like,
Uh-oh.
Did we just do that?
Like, how did that happen?
That's insane. Yeah.
Did that just happen?
Yeah.
That is craziness. I could not eat that much ice cream. I would. Well, I mean, I probably.
It wasn't
could.
ice cream.
Good, but
By the way, this wasn't ice cream.
what?
See,
Was
that's
it gelato?
This was just the dough.
Oh.
yes.
What?
Oh my god!
Let me make this.
It's so much worse. I thought you were having a cookie dough ice cream.
No, this was the dough they put into the ice cream.
Oh my god!
This was a 5-gallon drum of cookie dough.
Oh
my God, that
man!
makes it so much worse.
I can only imagine the wars that broke out over the bathroom after that happened.
That nothing. Nothing. There were no consequences.
Like, if I did that, I would violate the Geneva Convention the next time I went to the bathroom. Of course,
Oh, if I did that now, I'd be dead. I mean, it wouldn't take an hour. They'd be like, where was he? I don't know. There's just an explosion.
Yeah,
Why
it's
is
like it
there
just happened.
Red cookie dough everywhere.
Yeah, it just... I mean, I have 2 scoops of cookie dough on its own, and I'm just like, oh, I don't feel so good now. But no, back then you're in college and you're drinking, and it doesn't matter.
Yep, it disappears. That is awesome and insane.
Yeah.
I think that's one of my favorite drunken college stories yet.
But if,
I've definitely
if
heard some
something
good
had
ones,
happened,
but yeah.
I wouldn't love it till this day. But nothing there were no consequences. It was just like I jumped out of an airplane without a parachute, and I just landed on the ground. It was kind of cool.
Right?
Well, we are winding up or winding down here. We've got about 3 minutes left on the recording.
Okay.
I am so stoked that this went the way that it did. Thank you again so much for joining us. For
no problem.
Everybody out here who is not already subscribed to your channel, why don't you let everybody know where they can find you?
So, I mean, I was going to say, I actually want to say a little bit about the channel because it's a little different than a lot of other channels out there.
Yeah, please do.
Go for it.
It's called Mission4Tuition on YouTube. You can actually get directly to it by going to the website m4t.me. So
cool.
M4T, Mission4Tuition.me. What's different about it? We don't do memberships. We don't take donations. We don't do any of that. There's no super chat. There's no thanks. We turned all of that off. It's only views. Because it's essentially, I'll call it a charity channel, but it's to help our kid go to the school he needs to go to. I look at it as such a first world problem that I absolutely refuse to take any money from people directly. It can be done with views and hopefully one day brand deals. And I'm like, you know what? Let other corporations pay for it. I don't want individuals spending money on this when there are people with like real desperate medical issues or food insecurity or so many other things going on in the world that money can be sent to. But if a brand ultimately one day wants to advertise or they want to show commercials on it, that's what it's about. So it's it's not like the typical YouTube oh, send me your money, hit the join button. It's not that. And if it ever gets to the point, and look, I might or might not, but if it ever gets to the point where it makes more money than tuition costs, anything in addition is going to go to tuition-based charities.
Awesome. Yeah, that when I first saw one of your videos, I was looking up, just TFT tactics, and I stumbled onto one of your videos, and the second I heard the very beginning, your regular spiel about what Mission4Tuition is, I was like, this is awesome. This is one of the coolest ideas I've heard.
Well, thank you.
And it's honor is a huge thing for me. It's a big part of my life, and seeing people doing honorable things in this world is one of the purposes of our channel. We like one of the purposes of this show, and showing how everyday people are making the world a better place just by being themselves. And
it definitely renews my faith in humanity.
Yeah, very much.
Well,
so,
thank you.
So.
I could. There's too much, and also on top of it, look, there are people who are actually doing this for a living.
Yeah,
I'm lucky. Like, and my wife had said in the chat at one point, that she's got a good job that she enjoys. So it's like, we're lucky. We're not on the verge of being homeless. We're not food insecure. We're not like, we don't have those issues. Mm-hmm. And it's like, our issue is, it's like if we want to save his college fund and do all, like, have like a life beyond just paying for school, we need a way to do it. But that's not like, don't donate to that. Like, I can't, like, that's not a GoFundMe issue. So to me, it's always been like, if I can provide a service that people enjoy or videos that people like and they watch them, and if they watch them to the end, it does even better.
Yep.
Plug.
That's
or
true.
Share them, but but that's a way for people to help without it taking away from all the other great things that can be done to help other people.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
Well, thank you for being you and being awesome.
Agreed.
Well,
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me, and you guys are amazing. This was a really fun interview. Thank you so much.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you for being our first return guest. This is I'm super stoked to be back doing this. We're gonna speaking of which, we are going to be having a new episode every Friday, as health and weather and everything permitting and technology. But we're going to be trying to have a new episode of the Everyday Dungeoneer at 2 p.m. Central. But that time may shift around, but we'll have announcements as soon as possible on our Discord. And for anybody who is watching this after the fact and you're not watching live, all of the links for Mission4Tuition, for the website, and for all of our social media and everything is going to be down in the description below.
Thank you.
And again, liking, subscribing, and hitting that little bell icon always helps out, as we were just discussing. So. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Always remember, stay smart, stay safe, and stay creative. See you guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.